When you look at this executive order, do you see it as a ban on Muslims, as something which is unlawful, unconstitutional, un-American?
I definitely see it as a ban on Muslims, and Muslims see it as a ban on Muslims. Muslims that are American citizens see it as a ban. I was at O'Hare Airport Sunday night, and just the people that were there across the board, Muslims, Christians, Jews, everyone pulling together to try to help stop this. And we actually spoke to uh, the Border Protection folks,
Yeah.
but they did not uh, let us get too far. They just said that, they stop people for many reasons. And when I said, well, why are you detaining? Oh, they're not detainees. We don't call them that. And we could not get through. We could not get them legal help. And one young man that we knew about, he was only born in Syria, but had lived and was raised in Jordan his whole life. And he was coming in to visit his brother, and they detained him. We got him help yesterday. I'm still waiting to hear the end of the story because they were going to send him back. But I mean, it's terrible.
So how long did they hold him? Hold him? Do you know?
At least it had to be 2 days because I know he was there Saturday, and then Sunday, when I went there Sunday evening, he was still there, and he was still there Monday morning because I spoke to his brother, and we were trying to get legal help for them. So it had to be 2 days, and it was interesting because on Monday morning, they said everyone had been let go. And then I got a phone call from his brother, and his brother was still there. So that wasn't true, what they were reporting. I don't know if it was the administration reporting to the news that everyone had been let go, but everyone hadn't been because he was still there.
Right. Do you Do you know how many people were detained at Dulles? I think more of them had come into JFK. But
Dulles, I'm not sure, but I
I'm
just
sorry,
knew
no,
O'Hare.
at O'Hare. Yeah.
What I'd heard was, at first I'd heard like 18, but I'm not sure if it was that high. But by the time we got there, some of them had been let go, and there were at least two. But what people were telling me, this is what they were telling us.
Yeah.
We didn't see the proof because they did not let us have any contact with them.
Well, it's interesting. You talk about the response on the part of the border and customs people there, who, in a sense, were caught in the middle.
Sure.
Um, they were not informed about this ahead of time. There was no training. They were just told to enforce this new thing that came down from on high. But there are stories of airport after airport where members of Congress went and were even unable to talk to the people in charge.
Well, I spoke to the person in charge.
You did,
I don't know if he was the ultimate person
Yeah.
because of that time of night, but I spoke to the person who was most in charge at that time. And he kind of, they were doing their jobs, but he also made it seem like, oh, we stop a lot of people all the time
yeah.
at
No big
O'Hare
deal,
between
huh?
2 and 6 is the busiest time. And, some people were stopped, nothing to do with the executive order. So, he was trying to say this was kind of like business as usual, but it didn't seem like it.
Yeah, and it wasn't really. Now, what is the talk among Democrats in Congress as to a plan of action on this executive order?
Well, we've all been separated. So we just got back last night when we had the press conference. So there's a meeting today at 9 o'clock to see what the next game plan is. But we're going to keep, I won't even speak for other Democrats, but for me,
Yeah, right. Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
going to keep resisting and helping where I can and finding out from people, in my area what help is needed. Can we be of assistance to any of the law or legal firms that are helping try to get people out?
Were you at the Supreme Court
Yes.
last night with, and we have some of the sound of some of your colleagues,
Right.
Leader Nancy Pelosi, of course.
With our Republican colleagues that what the president did is not constitutional. Indeed, in the view of many of us, it is immoral.
And Bernie Sanders was there as well, Senator Bernie Sanders, saying our message is we ought to be bringing people together.
Our job is to bring people throughout the world closer together, not to divide them up.
So we know the Democrats are united, I think, in trying to do something about this, but Democrats don't have all the votes. What kind of help do do you think you might be able to get from any of your Republican colleagues? Now, again, you just got back in town. You haven't had a chance to talk to that many of them, perhaps. But I haven't heard a lot of them step up and say, we got to do something about this. They seem to be running for the
It's
the
interesting.
hills,
I
huh?
haven't heard a lot from House members, but even Mitch McConnell, in his news interview, said, Muslims have helped us get as far as we have with, the wars and things like that. So he seemed a little cautious about what was going on, and of course, Senator McCain and Lindsey Graham. But you're right. I haven't heard much from House people, and I'm sorry to say that it sounds like Speaker Ryan has, as we say, drank the Kool-Aid, that he is going along with all of the president's program, no challenges, no, that, like this is the right thing to do, which is very disappointing.
Yeah, he said it was right on target, right? Yeah.
And and also people are saying things now that they didn't say before. Even Vice President Pence, if I recall correctly, didn't think when President Trump talked about this in campaigning that this was a constitutional thing to do.
Oh no, Mike Pence was very outspoken on his on what a Muslim ban would mean. We played that yesterday. If we get it, Jamie, let me know. I'd love to play that again for our viewers and our listeners. Here we are. Here's Mike Pence. This was December 2015.
I think comments that suggest that Muslims should be banned from the United States are offensive and unconstitutional. The United States cannot and should not discriminate on the basis of religion.
Couldn't say it any more clearly, could you?
I know. And so many Muslims have helped us, like when they kept showing the gentleman that was the interpreter, and he sold everything, gave up his job, his wife left her job, his kids left school, and now they're back in their country of origin, instead of being in the United States.
It was also reported that by Politico yesterday, because the White House kept saying, well, this executive order was written with help from people on the Hill. And there's been reporters like, I know Jordan Fabian from the Hill was mentioned at our briefing, White House briefing yesterday. They've been calling member after member after member, and they can't find anybody who said, oh, yeah, we help with that, we help with that. So Politico finally dug into it and found out that there were some Hill staffers who work for the House Judiciary Committee who had been recruited by the White House to help them, but their bosses didn't know it. The chairman of the committee didn't know it. Arguably, I think Paul Ryan didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't ask her, can we have the help of some of your staffers, right? They just went direct to the staffers and got them involved in this. That's kind of unusual, isn't it?
That is very unusual. And also, I'm kind of surprised, frankly, unless they were afraid, the staffers didn't say anything to their to the people they work for. I would certainly expect my staff to say something to me if whether it was Nancy Pelosi or Steny Hoyer, or if it was President Barack Obama, to say something to me if someone asked them to help.
You would think, right? I got a call from the White House and just want to be sure that's okay with you, that I'm going to be helping whatever. Okay.
That's not crazy. That's
No.
yeah.
Yeah, you would think you'd do that.
Yeah.
So, can you assure us here today on the Bill Press Show that none of your staff had anything to do with drafting of this executive order?
My staff, I can assure you.
All right.